Hey everyone, it's Bill and Casey back again for another segment of real estate investing. What we're going to talk about this week is the importance of finding a good agent. One of the problems that most people run into is most agents are tour guides. They just open the door and say, hey, what do you think? At the firm I used to work at, there were 54 agents, and if somebody would come in and say, hey, I'd like to talk to somebody who deals with investment real estate, out of 54 agents, there was only 2 in that entire office that had that kind of expertise that dealt either exclusively or primarily with investment real estate. So what you want to do is you want to obviously deal with somebody who has that knowledge and expertise. We go through houses a little bit differently, and Casey's going to tell you what makes us different.
Well, first we usually do a little bit of homework on the property, and we see if it's either going to be a flip or a rental if you're buying a property for investment purposes. And instead of taking a tour guide and taking you through the house as if you would buy it, we take you through as if you were a renter and you were going to rent it, or you were going to make some changes and sell it to, just your normal person for their regular residential living space.
How about rehab?
Rehab? Okay. We obviously walk into houses that need a little bit of work, some a little bit more so than others. But we can offer suggestions based on our experience. If you do want to make changes, what you would do for a renter versus what you would do for a flip. If we were walking through this house, I would not suggest putting in a Whirlpool jacuzzi for your renters. Just little modifications like that really aren't suitable for rentals, and we can provide that kind of knowledge just based on our experience, whereas other agents who just heard that investment real estate was a way to make money, now that the market changed a little bit, they just walk people through just as they did through the other residential houses. They don't really have the experience, of construction or just general rehab.
So if you're going to go and talk to some real estate agents and you want to interview a couple of them, you need to be aware that the last few years have been rough. Everybody knows that there's been a collapse in the real estate market, and the problem that's created amongst real estate agents, you get some of them who frankly are kind of hurting for business, and so what you'll get some of them saying is, oh yeah, I deal with investors all the time. Well, no, that's what you want to stop and ask them very specifically, do you deal primarily or exclusively with real estate investors? Because it's a different breed. I mean, think about it. If you break your elbow, you don't go to your GP, you go to an orthopedic surgeon and say, hey, fix this. In the real estate field, it's the same sort of expertise. Real estate agents who deal strictly with investors, they understand things about real estate that normal real estate agents don't. This isn't a part-time thing for us. We're not teachers who do real estate part-time on the evening and weekends. This is all we do is investment real estate. Casey, what else would you add to that?
I would just add that some agents really are jumping on the bandwagon, and if you just run into some and you want to ask them some questions, you can ask them how long they've been a real estate agent. If they haven't been a real estate agent for very long, or they have been an agent for a really long time, they're going to understand these shifts in the market. They definitely go up and down, and they have before throughout history. So if someone's been in the game a long time, they may have some knowledge of the investment real estate, just like someone who is an investor and then turned into a real estate agent would have that same kind of knowledge. That's personally what Bill did. I was trained as an investor first, and then became an agent. So I obviously acted as an agent the way that I would want to be serviced as an investor, which means if I find a deal that I like and I know that timing is of the essence, they have to put it in as fast as possible. There is no lag time in investment real estate, so as soon as you get your priorities straight and you guys find a house that you want to put an offer on, make sure that that agent can pull all the information that you need together. And regular agents just may not be accustomed to that. They may be used to shoving that all to the mortgage broker and just meeting you at closing, which is definitely not the case with investment real estate. They have to be on the ball with things like taxes and inspections, if there are any, if you're not buying the property as is. So just through some general lingo, you'll really get a feel, if they know what they're doing, and if they've ever bought a foreclosure or handled a short sale or something that investors run into all the time. So.
Your agent can make or break your deal. In this day and age, with all the foreclosures that are on the market, your agent really can make or break your deal. Fact of the matter is, the banks are extremely impatient these days. They're really eager to get a lot of their bad assets off the books. And you really need to have an agent who's tuned in to what his negotiating strategy is going to be with the banks. Different banks move properties in different ways at different price points, and they have different negotiation parameters that you need to be aware of. Your agent, who's dealt exclusively or primarily with investment real estate, really knows what those parameters are, and he can make or break that deal. If you're with an agent who doesn't have a background in negotiating with the banks and driving hard deals with them, you may be leaving a significant amount of money on the table. Casey, what else have you seen out there in the market with the agents?
I also see a lot of agents encouraging their investors to bid higher just because there's a significantly higher listing price than we actually think the property's worth. And your agent has to not be afraid to submit some lowball offers. I mean, quite frankly, there's no other word for it. They're lowball offers, and all those things you shouldn't bid 10% under asking, like the rules are out the door. So if you feel a property is worth something, then make sure that your agent submits the offer. They have to submit the offer. And there's obviously going to be a little bit of negotiations back and forth, but it's going to be quick, and you're going to get usually to the price that you want and that the bank can live with. There's also different negotiations, like Bill said, with different banks or with different entities. Sometimes a bank did have a property and they sold it to an investor, and the investor had some of those mistakes. They were either in over their head or they had holding costs that were too high, and sometimes we end up buying properties back from hard money lenders. That's also a totally different ballgame, and some agents really don't understand or wouldn't even be able to recognize that kind of situation if you put it in front of them. So you really just got to know how to submit these offers and how to communicate with people. And above all, it's definitely fast. Everybody wants to get this deal done. If you guys still have some questions or you would like us to help you with interviewing an agent, we are going to be providing some sample questions that you can ask these agents on our website. It'll be on, there will be a link to it on Twitter, but it'll be on our Facebook page and our YouTube channel. So you'll be able to print that out, and you can take this sheet wherever you need to go that you're going to interview this agent. And definitely take some notes so that if you're interviewing more than one agent, then you'll have some notes to go back to and know who really knows their stuff. Okay,
so that's it for our segment of this week on how to pick an agent. Stay tuned. Casey and I have a lot more we want to share with you. Please feel free to follow us on Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook. We'll see you next time.